topic today is, does anybody want to know what our topic is today? Our topic today is drawing closer. And leading the music today is Ted. But to begin our time together, let's take a moment to close our eyes, center our hearts, and let our intention for today's gathering. Ethos is a community of men and women committed to creating safe spaces where people grow. We excel at accepting, affirming, embracing people and their stories. And we value living committed, caring, and helpful, open-minded lives. We come together with specific intentions. First, we come together with one another, with ourselves, with those around us. We welcome those of you who are new and invite you into our circles of connection. Second, we come to learn. We bring our beginner's mind into this moment and acknowledge our humility, honesty, and teachability. Finally, we come to be together, be human, be ourselves, be kind, be caring, and to be open to all that awaits us in this place today. Amen. Please give a warm welcome to Ted.
Sometimes it's just nice to breathe together, isn't it? So I guess we're doing this one. Oh, no, now we're doing this one. Got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your night warm soft bed, you just remember what your old pal said, 'cause you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. If you got troubles, I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do. We'll stick together, we'll see it through, 'cause you got a friend in me. Might be a little smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, but they could never love you the way I do. It's me and you, and as the years go by, our love will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
I do to people who show up who are early. I'm gonna bring them close. Everyone have a good week? Yes. I'm feeling good. Kim, she's in the hospital, so keep in your thoughts and prayers. So I don't know, Chrissy, what exactly she's pneumonia. That'll do it. Okay. So yeah, keep your thoughts and prayers. She what? Might be going home. Okay, awesome. And she may be watching us online. It's kind of fun. We have an online community that watches as well, so that's kind of cool. I'll get messages from people saying, hey, I saw so-and-so, and I did this and this, and I love this song. So it's kind of fun to do together as a group. So anyways, how many of you have seen Walter Mitty now? How many of you went home, you watched it yet? You're waiting. Okay, you're waiting. Perfect. All right. Just to one more time, February 2nd, here there will be a taco truck outside. $8 a person, all the tacos you want to eat. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Sound good? So we're going to eat just tons of food, and then we're going to watch Walter Mitty at 1 p.m. So what'll be kind of nice about that is you can just stay right here. You'll have food supplied. We can watch the movie together. Be really chill. Invite friends. It'll be kind of neat. It'll be fun to do together. And again, we'll have that remote up there. You can hit pause periodically. We're going to give people like maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 max. Yeah, max. And you have maybe a minute and a half to share. We'll see. I'll be up there with like a little clicker. But Walter Mitty. Walter, again, who remembers who Walter is? Negatives asset manager. Good. Walter Mitty, again, what I love about this is people oftentimes ask me, especially when we started the series, how come you're talking and using a movie, right? Like, why a movie and not, why is that the centerpiece over other traditions and pieces of wisdom? How have you guys responded to that? Has that question come up? Okay. Tell me more about that. Why can you see how it might come up a little bit more?
Because there's a certain stigma when it comes to introducing outside influences into a church.
I love you. Yes. Yes. Good. Outside, anything from outside of that one book, then, oh man, it can't have truth. Like, there's no wisdom there. How could it possibly? Steve?
Talking about the Bible, right? That's the thing that usually people reference themselves to.
Correct.
Well, the Bible is referencing things that happened at that time, you know? This is happening now. This is more relatable to us. So it's only natural that we would pick something that would relate to us, or that's something that we can pull value from. It doesn't make it less valuable. It makes it more valuable because this is what's happening now.
Yeah, with the traditions of Jesus, what you'd see over and over again is when he's speaking, he's not actually talking about the stories of the past. What Jesus does is he talks about the stuff going, he talks about the sower, he talks about the Pharisees, he talks about things going on then. Pretty likely that if Jesus were speaking today to groups and audiences, I doubt he would be in churches, by the way, but I think it'd be interesting because I doubt he would be pointing backwards. I bet he'd be using present day things around him, which I think is kind of fun. Mike?
Didn't you start this whole Walter Mitty subject from an idea in the Bible relating to fear, right? Having to do making poor decisions or not making decisions at all, which is shorting yourself in life, rooted in fear, and this is just a modern day example of it.
Yeah, you can find this same concept over and over again in most of the wisdom traditions, especially the Bible. Again, this is going to say exactly what we've seen in the past, but from a modern perspective, which is kind of fun. So, Walter Mitty, a negatives asset manager. Again, someone who needs to have, basically he gets the raw material and he helps produce it into something that is beautiful. And so again, Walter Mitty is the negative asset. Everyone get it so far? It's beautiful. And throughout this whole movie, he's going to continue to go through certain processes until you see at the end he becomes this beautiful thing. And so starts as a negative asset manager. And again, we have this whole moment where the slide is missing. It's going to be the quintessence of life, right? He's got to find the slide. And so the whole movie is him learning to step out to find this one missing slide. He's going to look for Sean O'Connor. Everyone remember this so far? Awesome. So we can move on. The motto of Time magazine was this: to see the world, things dangerous to come to see behind walls, to draw closer, to find each other, and to feel. That is the purpose of life. And so today, we're going to talk about what it means to draw closer. Here's what I want you to do. Turn to someone next to you. I want you to name 3 close friends and one characteristic about each of those close friends. So as the music kind of goes in the background, think about 3 close friends, one characteristic that you find really interesting or beautiful about that person. Deal? All right, go for it. You've got maybe a minute and a half. One characteristic, 3 close friends. I'm going to give you one more minute. All right. I'm going to cut you off. I'm just going to have you just shoot out a couple characteristics about those friends. Here we go. Funny. Courageous. Compassionate. Principled. Opinionated. Steve was talking about me or himself. What else? Give me more. Yep.
Self-limiting.
Self-limiting. Good. All right. Positive. Okay. Nice. All right. Good. I did some study a little bit about friendships and drawing close, and there's some interesting things I picked up the last couple of weeks to prepare for this. Someone try saying this word. Pistanthrophobia. It's an actual thing, and it's something that our culture in America apparently really struggles with, pistanthrophobia. And the idea here is a fear of trusting people or being close to people. And so pistanthrophobia is a real thing. And there have been all this interesting psychology over this and study over how people get into this place and then how they overcome that fear. And so some of the things they said, some of the reasons people have pistanthrophobia is they're terrified because real relationships, they make us vulnerable. Anyone with me on that? What's nice about when you first meet someone, like for the first time, and there's like the butterflies and stuff, what's nice about that first time you meet? And I'm not talking about just like romantic, but also just like a friendship or the new person, whatever it is.
Hope.
What was that?
Hope in that you can, in happiness, hope that you can be happier.
Okay, there's like a hope that, yeah, something could change. Okay, good.
A lot of times it's very open
Okay.
when you first meet someone.
Good. I brought, one of the last times I spoke at OC Grace, I remember my friend Daniel showed up, and Daniel looks kind of like he looks like a famous rocker. Like that's what Daniel looks like. And I remember everyone showed up like, who are you? Who is this? It was like a weird thing because the new guy kind of draws in attention. Do you ever see that? Or the new girl, whoever it is, they draw in some attention, and that's kind of nice, but do you really know the person yet? Well, it's just kind of, the outward is all I'm getting so far, just a little conversation. Once you step into a relationship with someone, friendship, romance, whatever it is, there is the very real fear, though, that things are going to get real, right? Like things start to get real. Live with someone for a year, and you begin to realize, like, oh, yeah, they do that? Really? Like, they said that thing, they believe that, whatever. Yeah, it starts to get real. There's some vulnerability that takes place, and that is potentially scary for people when you have to be vulnerable and honest. Another thing about relationships, they can sometimes stir up memories from the past. Anyone with me on that one? Things can come up. Things from the past. Well, if I got hurt before, will this person do the same thing, right? And sometimes it's very easy to put those people in those boxes of people who hurt you in the past when the reality is they may not be, right? Yeah, good. Another thing that I found as I was reading some of these different books, being accepted challenges the inner negative voice. What does that mean to you when you hear that? Being accepted challenges the negative inner voice.
Challenge that. And so for me, that's what that.
A friend is going to challenge the negative inner voice. How many of you have a Eeyore in your life? Right? Like right now, it's sunny out. It's beautiful. We went through rain for like, I don't know, a year, it felt like. Because we're not used to that here. That's why a lot of people are not here today. They're like, sun, I got to get out. The Eeyore does not like to be challenged to think positively, do they? And so again, the negative inner voice can sometimes become this crutch, but it's very interesting when you let someone in, they can sometimes challenge that. They can cause you to think higher of yourself, and that makes us sometimes uncomfortable because we have to sometimes either rise to it or just stick to being Eeyore, which is interesting.
The realization that your history of negative thinking has been a waste of time.
Oh yeah. This whole.
You've been wrong.
This whole thing could potentially have been a really negative pattern I was in, yeah. Another thing, in America, we're just terrified of our schedules. They're just so busy. Do I really have time for another friendship, right? Or sometimes we keep friends, we have friends, and then we have friends, right? We have the people who are like the shallow surface friends that we kind of talk to periodically. Anyone with me? Okay, and then you have the friends that are like, dude, what are you doing? Or they'll say to you, hey, buck up, let's get together. Or, hey, you are loved. You know that? You're loved. Like those people today, that's one of the first things Ted says to me every single time he's here is, what? You're loved. Hey, you're loved. It's beautiful to hear those words. Another thing, people are terrified of change, or they're afraid to be let down. Anyone ever walk into a relationship thinking, this person will never hurt me? Right? Like this person, they've got it. Yeah, get ready, because you're probably going to be let down really hard, right? But you're going to be let down. Understanding that and walking anyways, that's a huge step of faith. That's a big step. That's a courageous step. But those are all reasons that people are terrified of drawing close to people in our culture. Pisanthrophobia. Oh, good. All right, let me show you. I was looking at some of the health risks. People who don't have close friendships, this might shock you. It blew me away. The death rate of people who don't have close friendships, it significantly rises. So again, the risk of death among men and women in the fewest social ties was more than twice as high as the risk of adults with the most social ties. Anybody find that interesting? Yeah. If you don't have close friendships, your life is not going to be as long.
Would you say that it's because of an energy exchange between two people that are close? And if you don't have that type of energy exchange, which does bring forth life and love and stimulation, that you are stagnant, and that could be part of.
Yeah, like loneliness. Yeah. You probably said it way better than I did. Yeah, and the energy exchange, all that. Yeah, you're right. That's all there. Lonely people just hardly. It's sad. It's lonely. You go into depression. You begin to find different ways to deal with the depression. Yeah. Another thing, disease rates skyrocket. When you are the lone soldier, when you have no friendships, no close ties, you actually are prone to having disease far more often. And so even like the slower wounds, healing takes way more time. Everything is affected, which oftentimes brings in substance abuse and other things. Are friendships important to have? Yeah, like close friendships. Let me ask you this. Why are guys terrible at making friendships? Okay, it takes work. That was my bad. Yeah, it does take work. You're right. Yeah, that's good. Anyone else? Why is it, guys, that we're just weird about like friendships?
Yeah, I was going to say vulnerability.
Vulnerability. Okay, good. You have to be a bit vulnerable. You have to talk about things, it's not always modeled well for us to talk about stuff. So talking about your emotions, that's, I don't know. That's why every time I'm talking to people and they bring it out of me, I just draw close to those people because they're bringing something out of me that doesn't naturally come out. Anyone else? Why do guys struggle? Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. Ladies, how come you seem to do well at this? Why does this seem to be a natural thing for many women? Okay, women are oftentimes more compassionate. Okay. You thrive off the exchange and the vulnerability. Okay, good. It's not uncommon for me to walk into a restaurant and see a group of ladies just crying, talking, hugging each other. It's weird that, I guess it's not weird in our culture, but can you imagine walking into a cafe and seeing guys doing that? Like in America? You just don't see it, which is sad to me, because it's like we're emotionally constipated. We're afraid to talk. Yeah. Yep.
I think if there is a guy that has a problem creating a relationship, it might be because that's how males have been cultured, throughout history, to be thought of as a provider. In a relationship, you not only have to be a provider, but you have to be a receiver. And so if guys are constantly thinking they have to provide, they feel that they're wearing themselves out in the relationship, having to constantly provide instead of saying, hey, yeah, you can provide for me sometimes.
Nice. Anyone online that just heard that? Yeah, we get stuck in the role of provider, but we don't often learn how to receive. Good.
Isn't it possible also God just made us differently, and that we're just naturally inclined, maybe men are more or less inclined to be open or vulnerable than women?
Maybe.
I wasn't taught I had to be a provider, and that's why I was, the barriers up with my emotions. It wasn't until I went to theater and learned how to be more in touch with that. But most
You
people
had to
don't
learn
go
it.
theater, so it's like I wasn't taught that. It's just kind of, I thought, just kind of natural that you just are that way.
Let me throw a wrench in it. I've heard that too. Well, maybe we're created this way. It's interesting when you look at different cultures. The Greeks, the men were very open. It was very common to see men crying and sharing connection, reading poetry together, like those kind of things. Greek culture, Egyptian culture, very similar. But it's weird. In America, we have kind of moved through a Puritan, this Puritan movement, and these things where it was very staunch, very British in some ways. And so I don't know. I wonder if sometimes it's more of the culture you're in. Yeah.
I feel like all of our own experiences can lead to that. Like I've had experiences just with my own family, and then learning to not be so open and shut down in different ways. And then you have other parts, like his sister. She's very reserved, and very to herself, and so she's very feminine, but
Right.
And
So,
she's
however you were brought up is going to pull, the culture, the connection. Good. Sorry, go ahead.
To expand off the idea of we through culture are possibly put into the provider role, I feel like we're also put into the role of protector.
The protector.
Perhaps men are raised to not only put into the role of provider and protector to evaluate threat,
Right.
and to evaluate and also to compete. You're constantly taught to compete with one
Right.
another.
Compete, always be better. Yeah, and I always feel bad for the guy that's like 5'2", girlfriend is, 6 foot. She's the volleyball player. She's making way more money. She's gonna kick booty to anyone who threatens her man. I always feel bad for that guy because I hope you're able to sit comfortably in the role you're in and not feel like less because she is Amazon beauty, whatever. It's interesting. I feel like maybe we're moving in a direction where we don't have to think less or more, but we think beauty because I don't know.
What about your experiences, if they cause you to become jaded?
There you go.
To become, you go through these terrible experiences, so you become less emotional, more jaded.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in this room understands what you're talking about. That's good. Yeah, the comment was, what if you've been hurt or you have been vulnerable and someone hurts you and you're not able to? Yeah, yep. I think you're in good company. And then that's the process of learning to work through it and learning to slowly trust again. Ever meet anyone that's gone through a really bad divorce or a breakup? Ask them about the process they've been in of learning to trust people again. And that's why there's a couple of you in here that I watch you online. That sounded really weird. Let me rephrase that. I'll look at your Instagram posts and I think you're so strong. And are you dating anyone yet?
I am working.
I love it. The process, yeah, always the process. And that's why I'm always curious, how are people processing? How are people growing? What are they doing to move into wholeness from being hurt in the past? And yeah, it's a process. I think we all kind of move through. But it is the hope is that you'll be able to be vulnerable again rather than completely shut down. Because once we shut down, I think that's where, again, these risks come in. The health risks, but also just we essentially stop growing, don't we? When I don't let anyone in, I've stopped conversations, I've stopped growth, all those things. And yeah. Well, let me keep moving. Obviously, there are tons of benefits. These are just some. Low blood pressure, thanks. Less case of disease, less sick often, sharper mind, support during pain, sounding board, loneliness antidote. All of these things are positive things about drawing close, having friendships. So one of my favorite quotes, I had a couple. The Dalai Lama says this, and I think this is beautiful. Friends, genuine friends. Notice that what he does there. Friends, but then he adds the genuine friends are attracted by a warm heart, not money, not power. A genuine friend considers you just another human being as a brother or sister and shows affection on that level, regardless of whether you are rich or poor or in high position. That is a genuine friend. Another one I like comes from Proverbs, the wisdom chapter. Iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Genuine friendships, you better one another, don't you? This one, it's either Sushan Sharma or it's Buddha. You pick and choose because I looked all over and both say the same thing. So I don't know. We'll say it's Sharma. A friend who understands your tears is much more valuable than a lot of friends who only know your smile. Come on. Is that good? So here's Walter Mitty. And I love the beginning because he is surrounded by people in New York City. Surrounded by people. And this guy has not let many people in. He's not let many people in. And so he's surrounded by people, yet he lacks real connection. And I think for many people, when you watch the movie in the beginning, you begin to already kind of feel bad for him. Like you watch him and you're thinking, oh, I just wish he could have a friend, have someone close. That's Walter Mitty because he's still in process, right? He's still in process. The defense mechanism, again, he's keeping people at arm's reach, out of arm's reach. And so here's Cheryl Melhoff. He has this thing for Cheryl Melhoff. And here's the weird thing about he and Cheryl. Cheryl works at Time Magazine with him, and yet he goes on eHarmony because he wants to date her. So like a normal human being would go and just be like, hi, Cheryl, my name's Walter at work, right? But he's got this thing that he's going to meet her on eHarmony. Then they're going to meet and realize, oh, you're the same. Oh, and they'll have that pina colada moment, right? That's his idea because he's terrified of reaching out personally. So here's just a clip that I want to share. I have a couple of different clips I think are just fun to watch. Anything of importance? Maybe a relationship, maybe a friendship? Anybody? Of course. Yeah. And so the problem is if you're not living it, then it's all up here, and it has a lot of opportunities for some weird, awkward moments. That's Walter Mitty. Walter has a family. Family, Mom and Dad, I'm so glad you're here because this is going to be fun. Family can sometimes be awkward, right? Family... family says some of the things like when my parents walk in, I'm always curious, are they going to tell stories about me? Or, whatever. Or when we have a bunch of other family over, it's interesting to watch different things occur. Walter, he keeps his family kind of at a distance, but they won't stay away. That's Walter. And so Walter right here is, his sister's kind of weird. He and her could not be any different, just looking at the picture here. So here's another clip of these two. They're trying so hard to pull Walter out of his head, and he does not want it. He wants to stay by himself. He wants to stay up here. They're trying so hard to pull him out. And you'll see this over and over again in the movie. scene?
I see something different than what you saw.
Okay, good. They're seeing something about Walter that Walter doesn't see. Or what else? What else do you notice about that scene? I've watched this movie probably, an unhealthy amount, especially to prepare for this, so, yep.
They each have their values and thoughts, what they think Walter is.
Got it. They all have their ideas of what Walter is. And notice they're trying to pull it out of Walter. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and they're trying to get you there, like get you to see something, and you just don't want to, and you kind of fight against it? Anyone ever have that happen? Like they're trying to get you to talk about it. You don't want to. What is your typical response when you're feeling like someone's trying to pull something out of you? You don't want to go there. You feel like you're not ready. What is your typical response? Change the subject. Okay, good. Define it. Somebody get angry with you. What else?
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. Not go there. Denial. Or, yeah, completely denial. I don't know. I didn't even work at a pizza place. The picture's right here. It's a fake. You're irrational. You're weird. Yeah, Walter, his defense mechanism here is to pretend it away. Because it's much easier to live in the daydream than deal with the reality. Oh, good. And again, did you pick up the story? Dad dies, they have no money. And so he jumps right into working at where? Papa John's. Dad, who cut the mohawk himself for his son. Now his son cuts the mohawk off and goes to work the next day. Whew, there's some heavy stuff here. Walter works with Hernando. He keeps Hernando at a bit of a distance. I was going to play a clip. I'm going to skip it just for time's sake. Walter also meets, he's speaking to a guy, this eHarmony guy. This eHarmony guy is going to help him find the woman of his dreams, right? Cheryl. And so you're going to find he's going to be speaking to Walter all throughout the movie. And here's what the cool thing is about the eHarmony guy. The eHarmony guy is going to be Walter's kind of checkpoint. Do you guys ever have those friends who are like a checkpoint for you? All right, you made these goals. How you doing now? All right, and now, and now. So watch some of these clips. They're very short. The eHarmony guy, I love this guy because I'm going to show you. Yeah, you're going to love it. At the end, the big reveal of who he is going to come up in a minute. But I'll just share with you a couple. Walter is in Iceland, and he gets the checkpoint again. Walter, how are you doing? And watch, Walter has something new to say. Before, no travel, nothing, right? Very little. He has still up in here with everything. But watch, things are subtly changing for Walter when he checks in with him. Real quick, obvious, what's happening with Walter? Anybody? He's experiencing life. And he has that friend who's checking in, right? He's the friend that's saying, okay, where are we at? And notice what he does. Todd does what? When he says he jumped out of a helicopter, fought a shark on the way to a volcano.
Calls him out on his daydreaming.
Well, past, but notice he's celebrating. He's excited with him, right? If you don't have close friends to celebrate with, you're going to lack that in your life, aren't you? If you can't celebrate the big moments, you miss out, don't you? Good. And then here's another last one that I just thought was so fun. Good. Walter, again, it's so beautiful. Walter needs the profile less and less. Why? Less important? Because he's becoming the thing, right? He's actually doing it. Which I think, again, is what we do when we begin stepping out, when we begin to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Even though we get hurt periodically, we step out, we start having the conversations. We become not just this little piece of paper, but we become an actual living, breathing person. And it's exciting. And so learning to draw closer, I just did a little bit of reading here and there, and thought about my own life as well, and I hopefully can get some wisdom from all of you today too. But there are different ways in which we can learn to draw closer, and I think you might appreciate this first one. Learning to love yourself. Why do you suppose that's so important? Before you even step out, learning to be vulnerable, drawing closer to people, why is it important you first learn to love yourself? I know you've got something to say.
Love yourself and be comfortable with yourself, how are you going to accept other people loving you?
Good. Yeah, if I don't like what's here, if I don't love myself, I'm not going to be able to accept anything positive you say about me. I'm not going to be able to take any of that. Do you know those people, or are you those people? When someone tries to say something good, what do? Whatever, dude. Thanks. Because I am that person half the time. It's hard for me. Again, I grew up with this idea, especially as a pastor for a while. When I nailed a sermon, I was told you have to do this. Praise the Lord. It's not me. It's the big guy. It's like bull crap. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I put a ton of time into that. I should celebrate that. Like, I should say thank you. You know what? Thank you. I'm so glad you liked it. I really tried really hard. Oh, I practiced. Like, why couldn't I say that? It was because probably I didn't know anything about learning to love myself. Anyone else? Why is self-love important?
Because it ties into what you were talking about earlier about maybe men maybe not being able to exchange that love back and forth with each other, other men. But when I give out and give away and provide for others and don't know how to receive for myself, I am depleted, grumpy, and nobody wants to be around me. So
it's good. The provider, if you are only providing and not receiving, you're able to keep people at a pretty good distance, aren't you? because I'm in this role. I don't have to accept anything. I don't have to be exchanging. I can always just be giving, giving, giving. I can be in control. But when I allow someone else to hug me, someone else to love me, someone else to share positive things about me and accept it, well, I'm no longer in control of that. And for some people, that's terrifying, to not be in control. Yeah. Work on becoming close with yourself. Take time to sit with what you struggle to accept about yourself and treat it with kindness. Isn't that beautiful? Treat it with kindness. I'm fat. I'm not smart enough. I'm this, I'm that. Learn to treat yourself with kindness. Learning what's true, what's not true, and then learning to love yourself.
It might be a little bit of a morbid analogy, but the whole plane going down, put the mask on yourself first before the next person. That's always sat well with me ever since I was a kid and was on a plane, and then they use that analogy. Even as a mother or as a woman or just a person, I've learned a lot of self-love in the last maybe year or two, and you can give so much more to someone when you are completely full and fulfilled and of loving of yourself.
Otherwise,
and it's hard. It's hard to love yourself. You believe all these stories you concoct in your head from what maybe others have said or just whatever you've come up with to rationalize.
That's good. Yeah, if you can't love yourself, there's not much to give. Oh, sorry.
Let's face it, we're with ourselves more than we are with anybody else, right?
Yeah.
With ourselves.
We are in our heads more than with anybody. Yeah.
We're alone. Nobody's there to validate anything, so
right.
We have to rely on ourselves. You have to give yourself that validation as well. And in turn, you become the person that you're supposed to or that you want to be rather than the image that somebody else is feeding you and telling you they want you to be or fitting in the box they want you to.
Right. I love that. Learning to validate. Joe is not in this room, but I know Joe can hear me. My hope for Joe is that after he does these lights and does all this crazy, beautiful stuff, I hope Joe is stopping during it and saying, good job, Joe. Because when you tell him good job, and he's just in that other room, so I'm embarrassing the crud out of him right now. But when you go say good job to Joe, he's going to do what? Thanks. Totally slug it off. But I hope, Joe, that you were able to say, I'm kind of good at this. This thing, I'm good at this thing. Recognize your feelings, thoughts, experiences. Talk about them. I think many times we are afraid to recognize the feeling, like I'm sad. Why is it we're so terrified? I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm scared. These things. Once you recognize it, psychologically they say once you can name it, the fear of it goes away. And once you can share that fear with someone else, you've just lessened it 100 times less, right? It essentially you just took the sting from it. And that's why I love that verse when it says Jesus took the sting of death, right? It's a beautiful verse. There's no more fear in it, right? When you admit, well, someday I'm going to die. Holy smokes. You just admitted you're going to die? Yep. Someday I'm going to die. When you say that, the admittance, the realization that this life is not forever, begins to cause you to say, I can live it fully then right here, right now. It's really interesting. Let me keep going. We're kind of moving a little bit slower today. No longer engage with those people who make you feel invisible. How many of you have some of those people in your life? They make you feel invisible. They make you feel less. Because if there is someone in your life like that, you should be as close to them as possible, right? Yeah. Don't let yourself loaf with those who do not challenge you to grow. Engage those who ask you questions, probe you, talk, express who you are. How many of you have a friend that asks lots of questions of you when you're together? How many of you have a friend that doesn't ask a single question about you and talks about themselves? Good, nice. Yeah, because that's not a friend. Yeah, a friend is someone who's going to ask questions of you. This week, have your radar up when you're talking to people. Be aware of it. If you might even be that person. Like, you might be the person talking about yourself the whole time. If that's you, have your radar up. Just be aware of it. It might shock you how much you talk about yourself. I get in that place. I want to tell people what's going on in my life, and at the end I think, oh, crud, I never asked you once how you're doing. Don't be that person. And avoid people who make you feel invisible. Accept who you are. Work to challenge your discomfort with people who are already in a healthy place. Why is it that the healthy people we tend to hate on, get annoyed with, jealous of? Why is it often that the healthy people often are the ones we try to avoid?
Because they're a mirror. We see what we don't have ourselves.
We see what we don't have. It makes us uncomfortable. Anyone else with me?
No, it makes you think you can't have that.
Okay,
That's
good.
what's keeping you from achieving that.
Yeah, it's not the person, right? It's you, your perception of you, but the person only mirrors your fears sometimes. Yeah, that's good. And then the last part that I thought was really beautiful, practice stepping out. Every step you take towards putting yourself out there is one more step toward fuller, healthier relationships. How can you practice this? How can this be practiced in your own life? If you want deeper relationships, how will you practice it? We gave you a bunch of steps before that, but how will you practice this now? Anyone brave enough to say, I think I'm going to practice this week. I'm going to practice that slide this week.
Telling the truth, being honest about, I found I'm often most helpful when I tell someone that I love about something that I've done wrong. This is what I did, this is how it didn't work out for me, and I felt horrible about it. My experience often is the most valuable thing.
Nice.
And I get to say, I made this mistake, I hurt somebody, I did this wrong. And that makes me valuable.
It's beautiful. Being honest, being open, sharing your experience. So good. Anyone else? Which slide are you going to practice?
I'm going to reach up and put the oxygen mask on first.
Okay, nice. Put the
Self-care.
oxygen, self-care, put the oxygen mask on first. Anyone else?
I'll say the profile slide. I think I've already been practicing this, but I realized that I have my own profile. I don't have to climb a mountain or all these things to say, oh, now you have a profile because you've done these things. I have a profile. You may not like my profile, but it's my profile.
Learning to be
Accept your profile.
happy with your profile. Yeah, that's good. Huh, I like that. Walter Mitty, the beauty of this movie is he steps out, he starts experiencing these things, and what I love is some of the first experiences he has when he comes home is his family recognizes it first. Because I think oftentimes the ones closest to you will pick up on stuff. And you may not even realize, like, wow, this guy has changed, become healthier. Things you may not have noticed. And sometimes it takes those closest to you that you might call family, it takes them to recognize it. And I think this scene right here is such a beautiful scene. I'm going to show you 3 different scenes where Walter, the recognition comes in and he begins to draw close to people after stepping out, after going through those steps. What does family sometimes do for us? Comfort. Good. Forgive. Also, look at how they drop the expectation. It's interesting, like the expectations, no, we're family. We love you. That wasn't your responsibility, right? Beautiful. He draws closer to Hernando just in this whole journey. Hernando, again, was this employee that he worked with, always kept at a distance. But notice, even like the awkward relationships, when you begin stepping out, when you begin to be more fully you, when you begin to be vulnerable, even the weird, awkward relationships, the guy at the cooler that you kind of like, hey, what's up? Have a good weekend? But you're not really interested, right? Those people, even those relationships actually begin to get healthier and foster some kind of growth. And I love this scene with Hernando. What do you like about that scene?
He put his box on his box.
Okay, yeah. Male intimacy is awkward sometimes, but just learning to jump in. Ever get a hug from Ted? I love Ted's hugs because he's not going to let you just hug him for the quick bro hug. Hey, bro. He's going to hold you for a little bit longer and test how comfortable you are with your own masculinity. No, I'm just messing, but I love your hugs. They're the warmest, kindest hugs. They're great hugs. Totally removing like that weird, well, how long is a normal hug for a guy? Like, who cares? It's a hug. Like, enjoy the hug. I'm referencing you a lot today. This is nice. And here's another one. Even the eHarmony guy, the guy who's, again, that relationship who is checking in on you. Watch what happens with this one. This one has been just so beautiful to me. What's so endearing about that scene? Every time I watch it, I laugh, I get emotional. It's just a beautiful scene. Why is that scene so endearing? What connects to you?
Genuine interest that Spencer has.
Yeah. he
genuinely has towards him, and everything that he says has some meaning.
he gets nothing in return for this. He takes time out of his day to go bail this guy out. He gets nothing in return. Like a real friend that when we draw close to people, not expecting anything in return, but giving, just giving. Yeah, it's beautiful. Anything else that like landed well for you in that scene?
Walter's not dodging anything. He's just taking it all
true.
in and reveling in it silently, I think.
Yeah, it's good. He wouldn't have done that in the past.
That guy is so genuinely him.
The friend is so just genuinely himself. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Ew, choose a lady. That's like one of my favorite lines of the whole movie. Yeah.
He seems really full too. Like he's not coming from a place of depletion. He's really full. He has a lot to offer her.
Good, yeah, he's full. This guy loves himself. And Walter, what I love about this, notice even the proximity, they're sitting across from each other. You get some of that, like all this conversation we've had. When you begin to become a healthier person, you begin to understand and see the connections between other people. That's a healthy person. That's a safe person. I can be vulnerable with these people, but you begin to see it. You recognize healthy people, which also means you recognize unhealthy people. Yeah. And then Cheryl. Cheryl, I love this scene. He steps out, and I think sometimes relationships, when they're healthy, they actually cause us, when we learn to draw close, to step in, they cause us to do things we'd never be able to do in the past. And I'm not talking about romantic, I'm talking even just like I just said even just. The relationships, the friendships we have, they should give us wings. Like they should cause us to be able to do things we never thought we'd be able to do because we actually feel supported to do them. And those kind of friendships, I think, are the ones we hold on to the most. And again, I want you to just kind of think in your mind, who are those friendships that I have? Am I spending more time with those people, or am I spending more time with the people I don't really like? Right? The people that I have shallow relationship with, who am I spending more time with? Am I trying to make the people I don't really like, don't really have a relationship with, am I spending more time trying to get them to like me and less time with the people who actually do? Interesting, right? Start thinking about that for a while, because once you step into the relationships with the people who actually love you for who you are and see potential in you, they ask questions, they ask difficult questions. When you spend more and more time with those people, you begin to be able to do the things that you dreamed about doing. This is probably the second best, greatest scene in the whole movie. inside of you kind of was stirred about that scene? Nice. I love that song. Good.
Something I did this week, instead of being held back, I just went for it, and it was a huge undertaking. It took 6 to 8 hours to complete with someone helping me.
Nice.
And it was stop being held back and just go for it. I had a dream, a thought, an imagining, and I went for it. So
This week you went for it. You did the thing. And you felt like Walter.
victorious, yes.
Nice. You jumped in the helicopter. Good. Anyone else? What connected with you there?
I think there's a distinction between relying on her to find his strength rather than she encouraged something in him
Good.
to take that move, to make that step and jump in the helicopter. So it wasn't because of her, I don't think it was the encouragement she gave him to have the courage.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. We don't want the friends who are going to grab us by the arm and make us do the thing, because we'll resent them. We want the friends who are going to be singing us along and giving us the encouragement. Those are the friends who we're thankful for. The ones that are pushing us and just aggressively, you got to start questioning their intention. Well, I would do it this way. I would do it this way. Well, great. We're going to disagree on this, Steve. That's fine.
I have to disagree with this to the most high, because the people that tell me the most that it's wrong, or those are the ones that actually push me the most. I don't need somebody telling me you're doing great, awesome. Then I'm never gonna go to the next level. The people that are telling me that I can, the people that are pushing me in a good way. You know, they can't tell you you're stupid for choosing that, or say, are you sure you want to do that? Then you ask yourself questions, and I love those people. All of them come together to make me the person I am. It's up to me to make the decision, and I agree with Danielle, by the way. That was a good.
Yeah. I think you took it to way over here. The good friend, they're not going to be, oh, don't worry about it. Don't get on the helicopter. Love yourself. It's like the friend is singing. They're a positive force in your life. They're not beating you up. Hey, you're a piece of crap. Get on the helicopter. That's someone who speaks to you that way, that makes you feel bad. No. But the people who are singing you along, helping you along in a positive manner, that are that voice, that's beautiful. But I think the other side of it is, if it is a negative and a making you feel worse about yourself, that's not healthy.
I'll tell you, the real friend, sorry, and I just have to get to that, is the person, if the ideal friend for me is the person that says, this is stupid, you're really stupid for thinking that this is going to work, but you know what, let's do it. I'm going to help you, let's try and do it. Let's see if it works.
Okay, so you like the brutal honesty,
But they're still going to be there, okay, well, let's do it. It's not going to
they'll
work.
walk with you.
Yeah.
Got it. And that's the beauty of it. They walk with you.
I love that moment he crossed over from fear to just going for it, not looking back. I've been in that spot. It's heaven.
Yeah, that jump. It's heaven. It's good. Yep.
Even the way I guess it's kind of struck me odd, is that the way he started fantasizing about her changed then. Because it wasn't like this dreamy kind of prize to be had. It was more that she was, like you said, encouraging. And then also to Steve's point, that statement he made is in a different place than where Walter Mitty wasn't in a confident-minded place where he knew what the answer was and knew what he needed. He was the opposite. He didn't know what he needed. He wasn't encouraged by people telling him he couldn't do it. So he was in a place where encouragement was a thing that could change his life.
Yeah, that positive, encouraging voice. Here's what I love about this wisdom from Solomon. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. In ancient times, they had iron, and most of their tools were made of iron, swords were made of iron. Here's the thing about iron. If it's not used, what happens to it? It becomes dull, it rusts, it becomes kind of useless. The best way to sharpen iron is to use iron. And when you're sharpening iron and iron, here's something you may not know. When you're sharpening iron with iron, they're not losing iron. basically what happens is the very particles there, they're condensing. They're pushing in. Neither one of them is losing iron as they're connecting, as they're sharpening each other. And both pieces will sharpen. How did that land for you just then, knowing that? Iron sharpens iron. You don't lose anything when you sharpen each other. You only gain. Tell me about that.
Taking in so many different perspectives. That could be like someone like hammering you, like thinking that they're giving you encouragement, or it could be someone like you were saying who's singing you along.
So I think the word friend there is important to remember. A friend is going to sharpen you. They're going to make you better. And their sharpening doesn't mean they lose anything either. It means both of you, when you're working together, when you're pushing each other on, when you're encouraging each other.
It's not about sacrificing yourself or compromising what's important to you for the other person. It's about building each other up, and both of you growing.
Yeah. If you are walking away from conversations with people, exhausted, feeling worse about yourself, all of those things, that's not iron sharpening iron, right? That's not a healthy relationship. If you're walking away feeling like, yes, that was so good. We're both, I can't wait. I'm so excited for them. That's also caused some spark in me and this and that. You both sharpen each other. Good, an accountability partner. Yeah, iron sharpening iron. That's the relationships we draw close. Those are the things we draw close to. And the beauty is, every time I come here, I see iron sharpening iron. I really do. No matter how small or how large we are from week to week, I see it in all the conversations we have, all the wisdom that's shared, iron sharpening iron. And so my hope for you today is that you might learn to draw close, step in, be vulnerable, practice those steps, and allow iron to sharpen iron. And allow those friendships to grow and blossom so that each of us can be a better us every single day. Beautiful? I'm going to have Ted come up and share a couple more songs with us, if that's all right with you.
That's the right side. Nope. This is fine. Yeah, I'm good. As far as we know. Down in trouble and you need a helping hand, and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up darkest night. You just call out my name. You know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Well, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. You got a friend. If the sky above you was dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind should begin to blow. Keep your heads together, call my name out loud. Soon I'll be knocking upon your door. You just call out my name. You know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, all you got to do is call and I'll be there. Ain't it good to know that you got a friend? When people can be so cold, they'll hurt you and desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them hold it, but don't you let them. You just call out my name. You know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Oh, in the spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call and I'll be there. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Whenever there's trouble, I'm there too, 'cause you got a friend in me. Oh, man. Yeah. Shout out to Brett. He couldn't be with us today. He got called in to be a chaplain at the hospital and to make people's lives better. And I dig that. But he had asked to do this song, and so I'm thinking about my buddy. Today was gonna be the day that they throw it all back to you. But now you should have somehow realized what you're not to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I know you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead us there are winding, and all the lights that light us there are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. And maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Backbeat, the word is on the the strength of the fire in your heart is out. By now you should have somehow realized what you're not to do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead us there are winding, and all the lights that light the way are blinding. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. And maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my gonna be the one that saves me. You're gonna be the one that saves me.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here. I've been grateful since the day I got here at this wonderful gathering of amazing human beings. And the love that's here is phenomenal. So anybody that's online, come on down if you can come and get a TED hug. They're on sale. We'll all give you a great big hug. So when I'm grateful, I give from a place of fullness, sometimes sacrificially. Sometimes I give of my time, my thoughts, my prayers. Sometimes I give of my finances. And that's something I'm also grateful to be able to do. So, now is offering time. Ethos is a generous community, and every week we take a moment near the end of our celebration to create an opportunity to give. We give for many reasons. Here are three. First, we give from a place of thankfulness for what this community has given to us. Second, we give in order to invest in this community and to support its future. Finally, we give as an act of letting go of something in our lives in order to receive something new and different. It's a way to practice releasing in order to be open to receiving. Do we have another song? Thank you. Please welcome Ted.
Hoping you're gonna sing with me. Don't leave me hanging. Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gone. need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, if you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. This might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, if you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. Just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load that you must bear, that you can't carry, I'm right up that road. I gotta share that load. If you just call me if you need to call me, yeah, call me, yeah, call me.
So, a lot of people miss the word Wonderwall. I want to share with you. I'm gonna try this one. That song Wonderwall came out in like the late '90s. It was right after Nirvana and all of like the angry kind of, which has its place in time. But this came out and it was a little bit happier. It was a little more upbeat. They were called Oasis. And this song, Wonderwall, came out, and most of us loved the words, and we never really knew what we were singing about, which is kind of common. The word Wonderwall, here's what Wonderwall means. It's a barrier which separates the mundane from transcendent reality. Come on. Do you love that? Wonderwall. I'm breaking through those walls. Jesus had this moment where someone said, Jesus, where is salvation? Where's the kingdom of heaven? Those words go hand in hand: salvation, wholeness, healing. And Jesus said something interesting, because they were looking for a literal kingdom, right? They were looking to get their kingdom back. And Jesus said, oh, you're looking for the thing that breaks through, the wonder wall that transcends. You're looking for the kingdom of heaven, the salvation. You're looking for that thing. He said this. He said, it is among you. Now, I want you to think about this. There's a big crowd of people, and he's around them. They're all around each other, and he says, the wonder wall, salvation, it is among you. And when you turned your head, what did you see among you? Was it buildings? Was it self-help books? What did you see among you? People. Yeah. That's your salvation. That's your healing. That's your wonder wall. If you want to break through, if you want to experience that larger reality, wholeness, life more abundantly, the thing they were asking Jesus about, he says, it's right here among you. Lean in, draw close. And when you do, you will experience the kingdom of heaven. Amen. Close your eyes. We are so thankful that right here among us is salvation, is wholeness, is healing. And we're so sorry that we didn't always lean in. There are things in our lives right now we know we're just holding us back, whether it's toxic friendships, whether it is our own toxic ideas of ourselves, whether it's our own fear, whatever those things are, we want to just leave those behind. We want to begin walking in fullness and life more abundantly right here, right now. We want to be the kind of people that when others look around, they see the kingdom of heaven, the wonder wall, when they look at us. May we become the wonder wall to our community and the people among us. Amen, amen, amen. Everyone have a great week. And next week, by the way, did you enjoy having Ted do music? So good. So good. And make sure you get a hug from Ted. Let's all get a big hug from Ted. Next week, Chanel is going to be playing music, which we all love. And so next week, we're going to continue on. We've got 2 more weeks, and I think you're really going to enjoy next week, following the Time Life motto. Anyways, folks, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
That was so good.